Hello, my name is Emily Lawson. I will be conducting this interview with you. Do you mind telling me your name?
My name is Sterling Mallory Archer.
Sterling. Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 35 years old.
Awesome. When was your birthday?
February 15th, 1983.
Awesome. Have you ever been married?
I'm currently single.
Okay. And what about your living situation?
I currently live alone in my penthouse suite with my Butler Woodhouse
Oh. Okay. Where is this penthouse?
in Manhattan.
Manhattan. Awesome. We're going to talk about a little bit about your family history. So where were you born?
So, funny story, I was actually born in Tangiers, Morocco.
Wow.
So, technically, I guess I'm Moroccan.
Mm-hmm.
But so the story of my birth is my mom actually gave birth to me in a bar, and the person who happened to help her give birth to me was my butler Woodhouse,
Okay.
and she offered him a job and brought him back to New York to
Wow.
take care of me.
Okay. So would you say your mother mostly raised you, or?
Barely. It was pretty much my butler.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that you're closer to your butler then, if he mostly raised you, or?
I just see Woodhouse as the help.
Okay. You haven't mentioned anything about your father.
I honestly couldn't tell you who my father is.
Okay. Does that make you feel a certain way, not knowing who your father is?
It's not so much. I just couldn't imagine a man touching mother.
Okay.
So that I don't really care who my father is, but I just couldn't imagine who mother would be with.
Gotcha. Do you have any brothers, sisters, step-brothers?
Do not have any siblings.
Okay, so what was it like being an only child then?
It was honestly pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Mother used to always torture me. It was pretty much like being alone.
Okay. So do you have any sons and daughters?
I actually have another funny story. I have one legal child
Okay.
and one biological child. And so
Okay, could you explain that a little more?
okay, so the legal child, actually, it's the son of this hooker I happened to get with,
Okay.
and some little mix-up happened where during the paternity test, something happened and it ended up becoming legally my child.
Okay. What about the biological one?
And then the biological child, one of my coworkers actually used some of my frozen semen to impregnate
Okay.
herself.
Okay. And how old are these children?
The baby Seamus, the boy, is maybe about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Abby Jean, my biological daughter, is probably about half a year old. She's still just a very young
Okay.
baby.
So we're going to move on to more of your educational history. So, how far would you say you went through school, like high school, college?
I finished my my bachelor's degree,
Okay.
and then
Would you say that you liked school?
I actually hated school. The only thing I actually liked about school was lacrosse.
Okay. Can you elaborate on what you mean by hating school?
So I was actually bullied a lot.
Okay.
I remember one of the boys on the lacrosse team would actually stick my head in the toilet and flush the toilet.
Wow.
And I actually got pneumonia one time and missed about a week of school.
Mm.
And I was constantly picked on and bullied.
Okay, so it was more not even that you didn't like the classes or anything. It was just the people and how they treated you.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever fail a grade?
No, I actually didn't.
But how were your grades then?
It was just enough to get by, just to be able to play sports.
Okay. So you really liked lacrosse then?
Mm-hmm. I was actually the best player and the most recruited lacrosse player in America at one point.
Wow. Okay. Would you say you were ever in trouble, for behavior at your school?
Always being constantly bullied meant I was getting into a lot of fights with other kids.
Okay.
and I actually had a sexual relationship with a teacher and coach at one point.
Okay. With these fights, like, can you explain a little more about that?
These kids would just constantly pick on me, and I would get tired of it, so I would just retaliate. And I mean,
Okay.
I would usually get beat up, but I wouldn't just sit there and take it.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to more employment. So what was your first job?
So straight after college, I started working for my mother, who is the leader of the International Secret Intelligence Service, ISIS.
Okay.
But not the ISIS you may be thinking of.
Yes.
But I currently still work there.
Okay. So that's your current job, and you've had no other job.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you typically respond appropriately to supervisors, coworkers, work pressures?
We honestly have this crazy kind of vibe at work where we're all really good friends, so I would say no. We often get into many arguments, physical altercations, and we even often maintain sexual relations.
Okay, so with the sexual relations, who exactly would that be?
Everybody has honestly just about banged everybody in the office.
Okay. Have you ever been fired?
I have not.
Okay. Do you currently handle your personal finances?
No, I do not.
Okay, can you explain that? Who does then?
So my mother actually happens to take care of all my finances.
Okay.
She usually pays for everything and makes sure everything is handled.
Mm-hmm.
Or Woodhouse will usually do it.
Okay. And yes, you wouldn't have any issues handling money since you don't. Do you have any military history?
No.
Okay. So now we're going to move into medical history. So are you aware of any complications during your birth?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, just that it was in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Did you crawl, walk, and talk when you were supposed to?
I did.
Okay. Have you ever suffered from a head injury or loss of consciousness?
Yes, quite often actually.
Okay. What would you say that is because of certain instances?
Yeah, well, being a spy, I get into a lot of altercations.
Yeah.
And I've been knocked out plenty of times, whether it be due to grenades or just being physically hit in the head, or even getting into arguments with coworkers.
Okay. Are you currently being treated for any physical illnesses or injuries?
No.
Okay. Have you suffered from any seizures?
I have not.
So besides what I've already mentioned, is there any other medical scares or anything that I haven't mentioned?
At one point in my life, I actually had breast cancer. Believe it or not, as a man.
Okay.
But I'm now cancer free. But I also do typically tend to drink a lot, and I often suffer from tinnitus just because of all the gunshots ringing in my ear.
Okay. With the breast cancer, can you tell me how long ago that was?
Honestly, it was probably about 5 years ago.
Okay. So, have you ever been physically abused?
Oh, all the time.
By?
Mother, Lana, all sorts of enemies. Barry, my arch nemesis.
Okay. What
Kids
about
in school.
Sexually abused?
There was that one time I had sexual relations with my coach when I was only 12 years old.
Okay. And how about emotionally abused?
I've been emotionally abused all the time. It's just one of those things. It's just a part of life, whether it be Mother, Lana, or any female in my life.
So you say these abuses are more normal to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you think this has affected you growing up and how you?
Well, it's the main reason I drink.
Okay. Does having your mother physically abuse you make you want to act differently with your children?
Mother is just a monster, so she is everything I hope not to be.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to substance abuse. So, let's start with alcohol. When did you first start drinking alcohol?
I started drinking in 2001.
Okay.
So it's been a long time now, and I drink just about every day. and I have a few drinks a day, and then the longest I've probably ever gone without alcohol is probably like 1 a week.
Okay. So it's more, again, like normal for you, your daily routine.
I'd say I'm pretty functioning alcoholic.
Okay. What about cigarettes?
Don't smoke.
Okay. Marijuana.
Occasionally, once in a while, if I happen to be partying. Back when I had cancer, they actually prescribed me marijuana to help.
Okay.
With the treatments.
But after that,
no,
okay.
I haven't really.
What about cocaine?
Mm-hmm.
Or opiates?
No.
Hallucinogens?
No.
Okay. Have you ever had substance-related problems? Like because you drink, like...
definitely had some rowdy times. I remember when I had cancer, I went to Vegas, got super drunk, got arrested, but actually used my coworker's identity. Okay. So he's now wanted in the city of Las Vegas.
Do you feel any, like, guilt from that or anything?
It was actually pretty funny. I mean...
Okay.
You should have seen the look on his face when they came and arrested him.
Do you have any, like, current charges against you? So I guess no,
not me.
Since you didn't use a friend. Do you have a past criminal record?
I do not.
Okay.
Anything that happens to happen, my mother has it just wiped clean off my record.
Okay, so she, like, can do that for you easily, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mental health wise, is there any, like, history of mental illness in your family that you know of?
I mean, mother is a psycho, but no diagnosed mental illness that I can tell you.
Okay. How would you describe your mood?
I'm quite often optimistic and happy.
Okay. Despite getting into fights with...
Oh yeah, those are all just normal occurrences.
Okay, so it's more like play than actual anger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you have any, like, anxiety or stress, worries?
Not currently, but when I had cancer, I was constantly scared and worried that I was going to die.
Okay, and have those feelings, like, persisted since?
Oh no, those are gone. It was just during the time I had cancer.
Okay. What about, like, irritability or, like, yeah?
My coworkers are constantly getting on my nerves, whether it be my coworkers, mother, Woodhouse, and we're all constantly fighting and arguing. Mm-hmm. But like I said, that's just typical now.
That's just how your day goes, so you're used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about, have you had any previous diagnoses for mental illness? No? Okay. Or any psychological testing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how would you say you spend a typical day?
I'll wake up, first thing I'll do is I'll probably have a drink.
Okay.
And then I'll get dressed and go to work. And then work typically lasts just about all day, whether it be on a mission or gathering intelligence or just speaking with my coworkers, learning of a new mission, or just preparing for whatever must be done in the spy world. Mm-hmm. Then after that, I mean, I'll usually have a few drinks while at work.
Okay.
Go home, have another drink, eat some dinner, and then just get ready to do it all again. Unless I happen to be on a mission, then my days are just, they're unexpected. Okay,
so when you're not on a mission, you would say your days are, like, kind of normal. Mm-hmm. Just, like, same thing typical happens pattern, every day. Yeah. Okay. What kind of things do you do for fun?
I go to the shooting range. Mm-hmm. I do target practice.
Okay.
I just like to blow things up for fun sometimes.
Yeah? Does that, like, make you feel a certain way, like release or something like that?
I guess it helps me relieve some of my stress and anger from work and from all the people I deal with.
Okay. Have you noticed a deterioration in your personal care at all? No. Or, like, a loss of interest in any of your activities? Mm-hmm. Or an impaired ability to interact with others? Mm-hmm. Okay.